Happy Friday. Happy Friday. We are going to be filming how to do the rest of the cork board that we started yesterday, but also filming how to create a wreath out of toilet paper and paper towel rolls. I have a ton of paper towel rolls here. You could use either toilet paper or paper towel. It doesn't matter. Same thing. They're about the same size anyway, so you can use a mixture of them if you'd like. But we're first going to finish our cork board and get that done and out of the way before we go into that. So you will need some of your ribbon, and you'll need a decent amount to go the whole way around your cork board, whatever container you use, as well as some extra to kind of give yourself a tying string at the end. So you're going to need a decent amount of ribbon today. So just pull out your favorite color ribbon that came with the craft box, as well as your dried corks and container that you're using. You'll also need your hot glue plugged in and ready to go. And once that is all ready, all you're going to do all you're going to do is use your hot glue to attach your corks to the bottom of the container. If it's easier for you to take them all out and put them back in, that's fine. If it's easier for you to take them out one by one and just put a little dot of glue and just set it in the bottom and press it until it dries, that works as well. Just make note where you started. And if it's easier for you to go around the outside and do it, you can. If you miss one or two, it's not that big of a deal. Because you have the cork so tightly packed in there, they will stay for the most part. The glue just kind of gives it that extra hold for when you start putting thumbtacks into it. Some of the decorated thumbtacks that you guys made earlier. Just put a little bit of hot glue on the bottom and press it in to make sure that it's secure against the container while it dries. And you're going to do that for all of the corks within your container. You only need a small amount of glue on the bottom of each of these. You don't need a ton of glue to hold it in. I'm not putting a ton of glue on mine. And then just make sure that you're putting glue on the side that's not painted because you want the painted side to be exposed. And this might take you a while. This might be another thing that, you know, is a 2-day project for you, and that's all right. You just want to make sure that you're pressing them down long enough until the glue dries. Because they're so tightly packed in there that they might pop up a little bit. You will need a decent amount of glue for this, I'm not going to lie, especially if you have a bigger container than I do. I have a relatively small one compared to some of those cookie aluminum cans. And if you're like going to, so like if you're going to pull, if you're doing the one by one like I am, if you're going to pull a cork out and it doesn't come out pretty easily, like some of these I'm trying to yank out and they're not coming out, they might be okay without hot glue. You really just want to make sure that those, yes, some of these are not budging, and that's okay. They'll probably hold pretty well without hot glue if they are not budging and you're not able to pull them out. It's those ones that move a little bit more that you might want to just give it an extra hold. I glued a decent amount of them in. Ultimately, what you want to be able to do is to be able to like turn this thing upside down and shake it a little bit. And if any of them come out, then those are the ones that you definitely want to make sure that you're securing in. But really, what you want to be able to do is to pin something up to it and have it hold and be able to pull the pin out without things coming out. That's the whole point of it, right? So if you can, you know, press push pins into it and pull the push pins out without it coming out, you're probably good to go. Like I said, I didn't put glue on all of these because I didn't need to. I could hold this thing upside down and shake it and move it, but because they're so tightly packed in there, I don't think any of them are really budging. And this is something too, if like later on down the road, you notice that some of them are starting to become a little bit looser, you can just touch it up with a little bit of hot glue. It's not hard. But ultimately you just want something that's going to stay on your wall. Once you have them all glued, tightly packed in there, you're just going to take your ribbon and wrap it around the outside of the container and kind of measure it out to make sure that you have enough. You want ribbon to fully wrap around, but also to have a little bit extra at the top that you could hang it on the wall. Okay, so I'm just going to measure this out for myself. So this is just long enough. And then I'm going to go an extra half a foot just to give myself enough to attach it. Okay. There are a couple other ways you could do this as well. If you have like a picture frame hanger and you just want to attach it to the back of this, you can do that as well and just kind of hang it. I don't think I have one up here to show you an example, but they're kind of like, they look like sawtooth hangers that you can hang on the back of picture frames. You could put one of those on the back of there and that put a nail on the wall and hang that up that way, or you could do it this way with the ribbon. So you're going to hot glue the ribbon the whole way around the outside of the container. Do it in small increments because the glue dries pretty quickly. So just go in small increments around the outside as you're attaching the ribbon. And press the ribbon down as you go. Make sure it's tightly holding on. Okay. Once you have the ribbon around the whole outside, you're just going to take it and tie a small knot and glue that knot down at the top so that that holds. I'm just going to put a dot of glue and pull this tightly so that the knot gets glued onto the top. And I'm going to wait a couple seconds while that dries. So again, you're going to wrap the ribbon around the whole way, hot gluing the whole way as you go. You're going to tie a small knot on the top. And then you're going to press down with glue until it dries. And then you're going to place some glue on the top of your knot as well. And you're going to do that second knot. So you're going to tie a second time. Make sure it lands in the glue. And just pull tightly and allow that to dry. So you should have something that kind of looks like you're tying a present together around the outside here. You can do this with twine as well if you don't like the ribbon. Just leave that go for 20 to 30 seconds while the glue completely dries. If you want to tie a third knot and add some more glue, you can do that. If you want to make sure that it has some extra hold. I might actually do that. So I'm going to add another drop of glue right on top of the knot, and I'm going to do a third knot, tie it up. And allow that to dry. Okay, and you can see this holds up pretty well, right? It's just being held up by hot glue, but that'll hold really well on your wall if you just put a push pin in or a nail, whichever works. Once your glue is completely dry on your knots, whether you do 2 knots or 3 knots, doesn't matter. Once it's completely dry, you're going to tie a small knot towards the top of your strings. So I'm just going to tie 1 knot, and I'm not going to pull it the whole way down. I'm just going to kind of stop there. And then I'm going to tie a second knot. And then I'll pull it tightly. So that leaves me with that loop that I could put right on the wall. Okay, so you're just going to tie 1 knot. You're not going to pull it the whole way down. And then you're going to pull tightly on that second knot. Okay. So once you have all of these pieces glued in, or as many as you want glued in, and you have this knot tied and ready to go, you're ready to hang this on your wall and add some cool notes to it. So you can use those push pins that we made. I have one here that has like a button with some twine on it. I'm going to use that one. And this is going to kind of be my like place where I keep things that I don't want to lose. So I'm going to put my stamps on there. I'm just going to push pin that on there. Okay. Or some notes for myself or a to-do list. And I'm just going to hang it up on the wall so that I have a spot for it and I can see these things. I won't lose my stamps because I keep losing them when I need them. Okay, you can add photos to it. You can add whatever it is that you want to add. But just make sure that all of your corks are secure and ready to go. I would suggest gluing down as many of them as you can. A lot of mine were not coming out, so I think they're going to hold pretty well. But I might go back later with the hot glue and just make sure that it's fully secure there. All right, so today everything was painted, ready to go. All you had to do was hot glue these down into your container, as well as attach the ribbon on the outside, and you're ready to go. So that's part 1 of today. The nice thing is, if you're watching this back, you can kind of pause this until you have your project done. And then you can come back when you're ready to go for project 2. And I'm going to go right into project 2. So those of you that are watching live, you can either set that aside and come back to it later, or just rewatch the live later when I present this project, and you guys can do this project later. So today we're going to be doing a wreath out of toilet paper and paper towel rolls. It doesn't matter which one you use. I'm using paper towel rolls just because I seem to have a absolute ton of them. I have been asking family members to save these for me for craft camp, and they've mostly been delivering paper towel rolls. So what you're going to do is you're going to flatten all the rolls that you have. So you're going to take them and you're just going to flatten them down. Because it's going to make it easier to cut them. Just going to take them and flatten them. they're not completely flat, it's okay. Just want to make it easier for yourself to cut them. Once you have them all completely flattened, you're going to tape them, not tape them, and you're just going to cut small slivers side, about this wide. You don't need anything too big. This is about 3/4 of an inch. You could probably cut them about 1/2 inch wide. You don't need anything too big. And you're just going to take them and cut all of them this way. And you're just going to keep on going. And you're going to cut as many as you have rolls. The more you have, the bigger your wreath can be. Okay. And you're just going to keep on cutting them. You should have a decent pile growing once you've gotten them all cut. Once you have these all completely cut, you are going to take the rolls and you are just going to put a little bit of hot glue on one end, just like that. And you're going to attach the rolls to each other like that. We're going to make flowers out of them. So you're just going to hold it down until it dries. You're going to take another one, attach some hot glue, attach the roll. Okay, you're going to see it's starting to form a flower here. You're just going to keep on going. Now the fourth one. You're going to have 7 total on each flower. You're going to have 7. Once you have 7 in a row, you're going to put a little bit of glue on the end of one of your pieces, and you're going to loop it back around and connect it and hold it until it dries. Just be careful of the glue. It is hot. You do not want to burn yourself. Okay. So you're ultimately forming flowers. And you're going to keep on making flowers until you have enough to make a wreath. So this is another one of those things that's going to take a decent amount of time. I somehow managed to put all the long projects towards the end. So I'm sure I'm overwhelming some of you. Okay, So we're just going to make a ton of flowers that have 7 petals apiece. I have cut up so far 2.5 rolls, and I could probably get 3, maybe 4 flowers. Like I did say, you will need a decent amount of paper towel or toilet paper rolls for this project, just because it's you're going to use a lot to make a full wreath itself. If you don't want to make a wreath and you'd rather paint them all white, or if you have white paper towel rolls, they make great snowflakes to hang as well. So you can hang them as snowflakes for Christmas decorations as well. If you don't feel like making a ton for a wreath, you could make a couple to hang on the ceiling for snowflakes or in a window. But they do make great snowflakes as well. All right, so I'm at 6 so far. One more. I'm just gonna hold them together until all the glue is dry. Put some glue on the last petal that you added and flip them around so that they come together. And just pinch those last 2 together until the glue's dry. Just be careful of your fingers on the hot glue. So 2 flowers so far. Okay. We're just going to keep on going. Yeah, a little over 2 rolls I was able to get. 3 flowers. So once you have all 7 connected, loop it back around. Hold while watching your fingers from the hot glue. If you see that like glue is starting to run, that's okay. Just pull that out. It's not a big deal. Okay. Okay, so I have 3 flowers. So what you're going to do to actually attach them is that you're going to arrange them, and you're going to do this after you have probably 10 flowers, 9 or 10 flowers. You're going to arrange them in a circle. So you're going to connect the leaves kind of like this, where one of the leaves is going into one of the side openings. So like that. Okay. And you're going to arrange them in a way that it becomes a circle. So here, like for this one, I'm connecting it here. My next one would probably be connected here to kind of give it that rounded look. You're going to do the same thing. And once you have it all laid out in a circle, that's when you're going to go in and add your hot glue. just hold it. And you'll see that it's starting to round a little bit. I'm going to need some more flowers to go the whole way around. So I'm going to stop it here, and I'm going to show you the actual process of connecting it all on Monday. But I'm going to give you guys the opportunity to go through and make all of these flowers. So you're not just sitting here watching me make flowers for the wreath and then putting it together if you don't have all the pieces together yet. So on Monday, we are going to fully connect our flowers into a wreath, but I'm going to give you the opportunity to kind of make these flowers, take a break if you need to, and get them all done so that we can have them together for Monday. So essentially, your goal is to make like 8 or 9 flowers, and then we will get them all together on Monday. All right, so I would love to see pictures of your cork boards once you have them all done and you have them glued in and your ribbon tied on. So please send pictures of your cork boards to rusticraftsandcalligraphy@gmail.com. And I also would love to see pictures of your flowers if you've made them over the weekend and want to show them to me before we put our wreath together. Okay, so we will be back on Monday for our next installment for Craft Camp. I'm blanking on what we are making. We are making a bag holder. So you will need some sort of a tin can with a lid, a plastic lid. So like those coffee containers work great. If you would rather use a plastic one, that's okay. It doesn't have to be completely tin. It's not a big deal if it's not a tin can. Same process would work for either one. So if you have a plastic bigger container that would hold some plastic grocery bags, you can get that as well. So you'll need that. You'll need your acrylic paints. You'll need your paintbrush. And then your scissors and your hot glue gun if you want to add some extra decor. But we will do that on Monday at 4 o'clock, and we'll also arrange our wreath. All right, guys, have a great weekend, and I will see you on Monday. Bye.